This is Two Color Brioche and Brioche Increasing for the What the Fade Mystery Fade Along. I am going to go ahead and demonstrate setup row 2A and 2B so I can show you a little more Two Color Brioche as well as showing you how to do the increases that you're going to utilize for the brioche section of your mystery shawl. So we've already done setup row 1A and B, and we've now turned our work. We know that we're ready to turn our work because both strands of our working yarn are back on one side together. All right, so starting with yarn A and setup row 2A, it is going to go ahead and tell us to knit 3, slip 1 yarn over, bark, which is going to be our first increase. So let's go ahead and knit 3. And then bring our yarn forward for our slip 1 yarn over. So I brought it forward, I slipped this next stitch, and then I gave it a little yarn over shawl. You see that? And now I'm ready to do a bark yarn over bark. So brioche increasing is actually pretty simple. We just insert our needle into both strands of our stitch because they're a couple and we never break them up. And we knit a stitch. Then without dropping it off of either of your needles, go ahead and do a little yarn over and now just knit back into our stitch. And now we have brioche knit into it once, done a yarn over, and brioche knit into it again. So where once we had 1 stitch, we now have 3. So we've increased by 2. I'm going to go ahead and switch to English style right-handed throwing to demonstrate the next part of this row. So it's going to tell us to slip 1 yarn over. So my yarn is forward. I slip my stitch purlwise. And now when I go to work this stitch, it's going to magically create my little yarn over for me. So I'm going to insert my needle to knit the next one. And as I knit it, do you see how that yarn over is formed? So this is for our bark 4-stitch increase. So I knit into it once, yarn over, knit into it again. So right now that's a bark yarn over bark, right? Well, now I'm just going to repeat that. I'm going to do it once more. So I'm going to do a yarn over, and then I'm going to knit into it. And now I have 5 stitches where once there was 1 by simply doing another yarn over and then knitting into it one more time. So I've increased by 4 stitches. All right, and let's go ahead and switch back to continental. I'm going to bring my yarn forward for the next slip 1 yarn over. And we have another bark yarn over bark. So I bark, do a yarn over, and bark again. And there is my last increase for this row. I need to do 1 more slip 1 yarn over. So I bring my yarn forward, slip this stitch purlwise. And I'm going to go ahead and finish the yarn over because I need to slip these last 3 with my yarn in front. So my yarn's now in front. 1, 2, 3. And now I know that I'm not quite ready to turn this because I've got my other working yarn down at this end. So my working yarns are not together yet. So I need to slide and do row B. So for setup row 2B, I'm now going to be working with my other yarn color, yarn D. And let's go ahead and start English with this row since we started continental this time. Your yarn should already be in front because when we were on this side, we dropped it to the back. So now it's perfectly placed for purling or brioche purling. So I said I was going to start English, right? Okay, so we need to just go ahead and slip these first 3 stitches purlwise because these are just our I-cord edge stitches. So we'll just get those out of the way. I don't want those extra yarns to confuse you. All right, so now we're ready to brioche purl these 2 strands together. So I just insert my needle into both strands and purl. And now this is where we increased. So the first strand of our increase, I'm going to do a slip-one yarn over, and then I purl the middle strand, and then I slip one yarn over the third strand. And then I'm ready to brioche purl again. And now I'm to my big increase, and I'm going to switch to continental. So my pattern's going to tell me I need to slip one yarn over for this first stitch. So my yarn's forward, and I slip and do a yarn over. Bring my yarn back forward because I need to purl strand number 2 of my increase. And then bring my yarn forward for another slip one yarn over. So just go ahead and grab it and bring it back forward to purl this strand. And then one last slip one yarn over. And I'm back to a little couple, so I'm going to brioche purl them together. You see my little yarn over my slip stitch. So go ahead and brioche purl those together. And now my final increase, yarn forward for a slip one yarn over for the first stitch. Bring it back forward to purl the second stitch. Bring it forward and do one last slip one yarn over. And now I'm in the perfect position to brioche purl my last couple. And then just let your yarn drop where it naturally lands. So because we were purling, it automatically wants to drop to the front. This is my working yarn for the one we just finished. And I can just go ahead and slip these last 3 stitches purlwise. And now we're ready to turn.